Good morning and welcome to Auto Intelligence, the podcast that brings you the latest insights, trends, and analysis from the ever-evolving automotive landscape. I'm Steve.
And I'm Claire. Whether you're sipping your favorite brew while listening to us or catching us during your commute, we're here with your triple shot of automotive news. Auto Intelligence drops every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, bringing you the sharpest takes on the industry's most relevant topics.
Let's dive into our first topic today. Trump's tariffs are shaking the auto industry. The U.S. automotive landscape is experiencing seismic shifts following President Trump's implementation of a 25% tariff on imported vehicles and parts, effective April 3rd. Claire, the industry's response has been immediate and dramatic.
Absolutely, Steve. Volkswagen Group has completely suspended all vehicle exports from Mexico to the US since the tariffs took effect. They're currently holding approximately 37,000 vehicles at US ports, enough inventory to cover nearly 2 months of sales. What's particularly interesting is the situation with Audi's Q5 SUV.
Right, and that's manufactured in San Jose, Chiapa, Mexico. The tariff situation is especially problematic for them because the Q5's powertrain imported from Europe makes it non-compliant with USMCA's 75% local content requirement, meaning it gets hit with the full 25% tariff.
Exactly. This affects over 56,000 annual US sales of the Q5, which is actually down 23% from 2023 figures. Audi is now adding these tariff costs to their destination charges, making their pricing less competitive against rivals like BMW and Mercedes-Benz.
Speaking of competitive positioning, S&P Global Mobility's analysis presents some alarming projections. Their data shows that within just 1 week of the tariffs taking effect, daily North American automotive production dropped by 20,000 units. And they predict that ultimately 45% of all U.S. vehicle sales will be affected by these measures.
The ripple effects are spreading across borders too. Stellantis has temporarily suspended operations at its Windsor assembly plant in Canada for 2 weeks, from April 7th to the 1st. This facility, which produces minivans and the Dodge Charger, employs about 3,600 workers who are all impacted by this shutdown.
And it's not just the Windsor plant. Stellantis has also had to implement 900 temporary layoffs at supporting facilities in Michigan and Indiana, and they've paused Jeep Compass production in Mexico. According to their analysis, about 50% of the components used in Windsor now face 25% duties.
In response, Canada has implemented its own set of countermeasures. The Canadian government has imposed matching 25% tariffs on non-CUSMA-compliant US-made vehicles, along with a 25% tariff on non-Canadian or Mexican content in CUSMA-compliant vehicles.
And they've done something interesting with those tariff revenues, directing them to support the approximately 500,000 auto workers across Canada. They've also granted exemptions to automakers like Stellantis, Ford, and Toyota that maintain production facilities in Canada.
Colin Mang, economics professor at McMaster University, has warned that these escalating trade tensions could have serious consequences for consumers. He projects that car prices could rise by 1,000 to 8,000 Canadian dollars due to these measures. In fact, broader industry estimates suggest average vehicle price increases of $6,800 to $8,500 across the market.
Mang also pointed out that Trump's policies are creating approximately $1,200 in annual cost increases for U.S. households, which reduces consumer spending power and puts pressure on business profits. This volatility has spooked investors, negatively impacting both U.S. and Canadian economies.
It's worth noting that Ford has already launched a US-focused discount program to offset some of these price hikes, though they've excluded tariffs on domestically produced models like the Expedition. Meanwhile, BMW is absorbing the tariffs on their Mexico-made vehicles until May 1st, which affects popular models like the 3 Series and M2.
Moving on to our next topic, hybrid vehicles are surging amid slowing EV adoption. While EV sales did reach a record 1.3 million units globally in January 2025, representing an 18% year-over-year increase, the growth rate is notably slower than industry projections from just a year ago. This deceleration has automakers pivoting their strategies.
That's right, Steve. The data from Motion shows interesting regional disparities in that 1.3 million figure. China led with about 700,000 units, up 12% year over year, while Europe saw 250,000 sales, up 21%, and North America reached 130,000 units, up 22%. But these growth rates are significantly lower than the 40 to 50% jumps we saw in previous years.
And in response, automakers like Toyota and Ford are doubling down on hybrid technology. Toyota has positioned itself perfectly for this moment.
Toyota's updated RAV4 Hybrid, starting at $33,695, delivers 219 horsepower with all-wheel drive capability. Their refreshed Prius achieves an impressive 57 mpg combined, demonstrating why Toyota has long championed hybrid technology as a practical bridge to electrification.
Ford's approach has been fascinating too. They're emphasizing performance aspects of hybrids rather than just fuel efficiency. Their 2025 F-150 hybrid generates 430 horsepower and 570 pound-feet of torque, while offering a remarkable 704-mile range on a single tank.
It's impressive how they've positioned hybrids as performance vehicles. Ford's hybrid SUV lineup now features built-in generators and hands-free driving technology. They're showing consumers that hybrids aren't just about saving fuel. They're about gaining capabilities that traditional combustion engines can't offer. You're listening to Auto Intelligence, sponsored by Auto Agentic, the pioneering AI-driven platform transforming automotive retail with intelligent solutions that empower dealership teams rather than replacing them.
Looking at the broader market projections, analysts expect about 25% of new vehicles sold in 2025 will be electrified in some form, up from 20% in 2024. But the mix is shifting more toward hybrids than pure EVs in many markets.
Perhaps the most exciting development is Toyota's progress with solid-state battery technology. Their research promises batteries with twice the energy density of current lithium-ion batteries, potentially doubling EV range. These batteries are also expected to maintain performance through more than 1,000 charge cycles with minimal degradation.
That technology could be transformative. Toyota aims to have prototypes using solid-state batteries by mid-2025, with production vehicles incorporating the technology sometime in the 2030s. The simplified recycling through solid electrolytes also addresses sustainability concerns with current battery technology.
It seems hybrids are complementing rather than replacing the electrification journey.
J.D. Power's analysis suggests this is a reset year for EVs, with retail share holding around 9.1% in the U.S. through 2025. Policy uncertainty under the new administration has certainly played a role in that flattening curve.
Now let's shift our focus to autonomous vehicles and the road ahead. Autonomous driving technology is making remarkable strides in 2025, with Chinese automakers leading much of the innovation.
XPeng's XNGP autonomous suite now operates on all public roads in China, using camera-based AI systems comparable to what Tesla offers with its full self-driving technology.
That's right. And the Chinese government has approved 9 automakers for Level 3 public road testing, including major players like BYD and Li Auto. For listeners who might not be familiar with the terminology, Level 3 autonomy means the vehicle can handle most driving tasks, but still requires human oversight to intervene when necessary.
Tesla maintains technological leadership globally, but they face regulatory challenges specifically in China. While its full self-driving system remains limited there, recent government support suggests potential testing agreements involving local partners like Baidu. Tesla's Hardware 4-equipped vehicles continue pushing toward higher autonomy levels worldwide.
The robotaxi market is where we're seeing the most dramatic commercial applications. Baidu's Apollo Go service now operates over 400 vehicles in Wuhan alone, and they've expanded to 24-hour operations in several cities.
The market projections are staggering. McKinsey forecasts that China will lead this market, generating over $500 billion in revenue from autonomous vehicles and mobility services by 2030. That breaks down to about $230 billion from autonomous vehicle sales and $260 billion from mobility services.
China's robotaxi market alone is projected to reach 1.3 trillion yuan, that's about $180 billion, by 2030, capturing 60% of China's ride-hailing market. They're expected to deploy over 12 million robotaxis by 2040, which is nearly double the projection for the United States.
Several factors are driving China's leadership position. They've developed over 7,000 kilometers of smart roads nationwide. They have regulatory support for commercial autonomous vehicle operations, and they've achieved significant cost advantages. Industry experts project robotaxi services will operate at just 30 to 50 cents per mile, substantially lower than traditional ride-hailing.
China's government has set aggressive targets of 1 million robotaxis by 2030 and 15,000 kilometers of connected road infrastructure. While Western companies like Waymo and Cruise remain competitive, Chinese firms are outpacing them in large-scale commercialization.
But regulatory challenges remain a significant barrier globally. Experts emphasize the need for clear laws defining liability in accidents involving self-driving cars, which varies dramatically by country and even by state in the US.
For our next topic, let's examine how eco-friendly manufacturing is taking center stage. Automakers are increasingly adopting carbon-neutral manufacturing practices and embracing circular economy principles as sustainability becomes a core business strategy rather than just a marketing angle.
Tesla has set one of the most aggressive timelines, aiming for complete carbon neutrality by 2030. They're focusing on sustainable battery materials and planning to produce 1,500 gigawatt hours of renewable energy to power their operations.
Toyota is taking a more measured approach, targeting carbon neutrality across operations and supply chain by 2050, with an interim goal of reducing emissions from new vehicles by 33.3% by 2030. Their strategy involves a diversified approach, including hybrids, battery electric vehicles, and hydrogen fuel cells.
BMW's sustainability goals include cutting CO2 emissions by 40% by 2030, while transitioning half their lineup to EVs. What's particularly interesting is their material innovation. The new i5 model incorporates 50% recycled plastic in interior components, while their flax fiber seatbacks reduce emissions by 85% compared to carbon fiber.
Renault's Circular Economy Initiative is perhaps the most comprehensive. Their refactory aims to reuse or recycle 100% of materials from end-of-life vehicles by 2030, including closed-loop systems for copper, plastics, and battery metals.
Ford has implemented a closed-loop aluminum recycling program that reduces energy use by 95% compared to producing new aluminum. They're also using recycled plastic bottles for underbody shields in several models.
It's remarkable how quickly this transition is happening. Automakers are nearly tripling their R&D investments in software, shifting from 21% of development budgets today to 58% by 2035. The capabilities being unlocked through over-the-air updates, AI-powered systems, and personalized experiences are becoming key differentiators.
Hyundai Motor Group's partnership with Samsung Electronics exemplifies this trend. They're integrating Samsung's SmartThings ecosystem with Hyundai and Kia vehicles, enabling control of home devices like air conditioners and air purifiers from the car, and vice versa.
Their SmartThings Find feature is particularly innovative, using a network of Galaxy devices to track vehicle location even without cellular coverage. They're also developing a joint open ecosystem for third-party app development, targeting a 2026 launch.
Hyundai's aggressive roadmap aims to transform all their vehicles to SDVs by 2025, with over-the-air update capability across all models. They expect to have 20 million connected cars on the road by 2025.
These SDVs generate new revenue streams through subscription models for features like advanced driver assistance and immersive entertainment. Hyundai and Kia are also developing data-driven partnerships with logistics, leisure, and entertainment sectors to create comprehensive mobility ecosystems.
The technology brings significant cost savings too. Simplified production via shared hardware and software platforms reduces development time by about 20%, while over-the-air updates lower recall-related costs by addressing software issues remotely.
However, consumer concerns about data security and high initial costs remain challenges. Cybersecurity risks increase with connectivity, and strict regulatory compliance adds complexity to development cycles.
The Asia-Pacific region is expected to dominate this market, holding approximately 60% market share by 2030, led by China's EV adoption and technology partnerships like BYD's work with NVIDIA.
Now let's spotlight April's most anticipated vehicle debuts. This month sees several high-profile launches that highlight continued innovation despite market uncertainties. Volkswagen is set to introduce the Tiguan R-Line in India on April 14th.
This premium SUV features a tech-rich cabin with a 15.1-inch freestanding touchscreen and a 10.25-inch digital cockpit. Power comes from a 2.0-liter TSI turbo petrol engine producing between 201 and 204 horsepower and 320 newton-meters of torque, paired with a 7-speed DSG transmission and 4-motion all-wheel drive.
The performance specs are impressive too, 0 to 100 km per hour in 7.1 seconds and a top speed of 229 km per hour. Its safety credentials include a 5-star Euro NCAP rating and 9 airbags. Volkswagen is positioning it in the 50 to 55 lakh rupee price range, which is about $60,000 to $66,000.
The feature list is comprehensive. Level 2 ADAS with 21 functions, Park Assist Plus with autonomous parking capability, massaging sports seats, tri-zone climate control, and 30-color ambient lighting. It will be available in 6 colors, including Persimmon Red Metallic and Cipressino Green Metallic.
Meanwhile, Tata Motors is launching the Harrier EV this month. This will be their first electric model in their premium SUV lineup, built on the Acti.Eve architecture with dual-motor all-wheel drive. It's expected to deliver 500 newton-meters of torque and over 500 kilometers of range on a single charge.
The production version debuted at the Bharat Mobility Expo 2025, and it's expected to be priced around 23 lakh rupees, or about $27,500. It will compete with other electric SUVs like the MG ZS EV and Hyundai Kona Electric in the Indian market.
These launches highlight different approaches to the evolving market. Volkswagen targeting premium SUV buyers seeking sporty performance, while Tata expands its electric portfolio with a focus on long-range capability at a more accessible price point.
To wrap up today's episode, let's discuss navigating uncertainty in the auto industry. Experts agree that the automotive industry is at a critical juncture. Technological shifts, policy changes, and strategic investments are reshaping the landscape at an unprecedented pace. Marcus Amick, a seasoned automotive journalist with over 2 decades of experience, highlights these dynamics in his analysis of IBM's comprehensive industry study.
IBM's research forecasts that 80% of new cars will feature electric powertrains within a decade, with 74% of executives expecting AI-powered software-defined vehicles to dominate by 2035. But there's significant turbulence along this journey.
Indeed, geopolitical tensions like the US-Canada tariff situation are disrupting supply chains, while advancements in electrification and autonomy present both opportunities and challenges. Policy changes globally are adding another layer of complexity.
Marcus Amick emphasizes that automakers are navigating what he calls a high-risk, high-reward landscape. While software-defined vehicles and electrification promise tremendous growth, potentially $1.16 trillion by 2030, success hinges on balancing innovation with consumer trust and regulatory compliance.
Amick notes, the future of automotive brands will be defined by their ability to deliver cutting-edge technologies while maintaining the trust and loyalty of increasingly tech-savvy consumers.
This perspective is echoed by industry analysts who point to 2025 as a pivotal year. China's policy changes regarding battery technology exports, the UK's increased vehicle excise duties on internal combustion engines, and the EU's charging infrastructure mandates are all reshaping competitive dynamics.
The industry's resilience is being tested, but innovation continues to accelerate. The emergence of solid-state batteries, the rapid advancement of autonomous systems in China, and the integration of software platforms like Hyundai and Samsung's partnership all point to a transformative period ahead.
While challenges remain, from regulatory hurdles for autonomous vehicles to slowing EV adoption in some markets and continuing supply chain pressures, the industry's commitment to innovation promises an exciting road ahead for consumers and manufacturers alike.
That brings us to the end of today's episode. We'd like to thank you for joining us on Auto Intelligence.
Auto Intelligence is produced by AutoAgentic, a pioneering AI-driven platform transforming automotive retail. Founded in 2024, AutoAgentic delivers intelligent solutions for dealership operations, emphasizing ethical AI, seamless integrations, and real-time insights that empower dealership teams rather than replacing them.
You can learn more about AutoAgentic's suite of intelligent agents for lead nurturing, inventory optimization, and other solutions at autoagentic.ai.
If you enjoyed today's show, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. We'll be back on Thursday with more insights from the automotive world.
Until then, drive safely and stay curious.